Right from the start, we're jumping into the tricky world of narcissists, especially when these people face hard times. This isn't something we talk about every day, but it can help us understand some very confusing behavior. Here, 5 weird things a narcissist does when they hit collapse. Let's talk about the first strange thing. They go back to the people they've hurt or ignored in the past, looking for comfort. Let's dig into this. Think of it like a boat trying to find safe harbor in a storm. The person who's dealing with the chaos of their own downfall rushes back to these old places, places they left behind, people they've upset or ignored, hoping to find peace. Imagine this, a person struggling during this hard time, trying their best to avoid facing their own truth. And the truth is, they're not as special or amazing as they once thought they were. Actually, deep down, they're really insecure. They're messed up inside. And number 2, narcissists often trick themselves. Yes, you understood it right. They don't just manipulate other people, but also themselves. As they struggle with their collapsing lives, they start lying to themselves, which is really surprising. This is where the idea of softening the blow in really tough emotional situations comes in. Softening the blow is a way for the mind to handle really hard and painful realities. It's a way to protect oneself, but it can cause more damage in the long run. Narcissists do this by tricking themselves. They make themselves believe that their current problems aren't real. They are a world in their heads where everything is great, all about them, and they're still very important. But why do they do this? It's because it's too hard to face the truth of their problems and weaknesses. Their self-imagined greatness has been their shield the world, and without it, they feel exposed and weak, so they run away. They run into a world they create where they still the most. They change their reality, ignoring the truth and replacing it with their own made-up story. But tricking themselves like this can be harmful. While it might make them feel better for a while, it stops them from facing their problems directly. It keeps them from growing and traps them in a destructive pattern of denial and lying to themselves. Imagine being stuck in a maze you've made, constantly running but never reaching anywhere. That's what it's like for a narcissist who themselves. It's a weird and harmful lie they tell themselves, showing how far a narcissist will go to keep thinking they're better than everyone else. Now let's move on to the third odd fact. Third, narcissists often feel very paranoid. This isn't just a simple worry. This is the kind of fear that makes them question their very existence. It's like a noisy alarm that never turns off, constantly going off inside their heads. It's a constant thought in their mind, making them believe that everyone wants to harm them, trick them, and lie to them. Imagine living your life always worried, thinking that everyone is against you. This is what life is like for a narcissist when they start to fall apart. Their world turns into a place of conflict where friends are enemies and enemies are everywhere. It's a scary place to be in, where they can't trust anyone and feel like they're always being betrayed. This fear comes from their super high self-esteem falling apart. They can't understand the fact that their greatness was all pretend, that they aren't as strong as they thought. So they start feeling this fear, thinking that everyone is trying to show their true self to bring them down. It's a way of protecting themselves from the harsh truth that they are just as normal, just as weak as everyone else. But instead of accepting this truth, they make up a story in their head where they are the victim, the targeted, the misunderstood. But let's be clear, this fear isn't a reason to feel sorry for them. It's a sign that they can't accept the truth about who they really are. It's a desperate attempt to hold on to their falling apart self-image, to bring order to the mess them. This fear can be very tough to deal with. It doesn't just make them feel alone, it also pushes people away. It's a cycle, as their fear pushes people away, which only makes them believe more that everyone is against them. Now, let's move on to the fourth odd thing. Number 4. Narcissists often forget stuff. This forgetting isn't just like misplacing your keys. It's when a person can't remember important personal things, usually when they're really stressed or after something bad has happened. Now, with narcissists, they use this as a weird way to deal with problems. Imagine a narcissist struggling with their own worries and pretending to be something they're not. It's not a nice place to be, right? But here's the thing. They don't want to deal with this. It's too hard, too real. So what do? They zone out. They forget about their problems, forgetting why they're upset. It's like they go to a place where their problems don't exist, where they don't have to deal with the mess inside them. This is forgetting in action. It's a short break from the real world, a short break from the storm. But like all good things, it ends. And then they snap back. Suddenly they're back in their bodies, their problems falling down around them. The pain, the mess, the hard truth, it all comes back. And with it comes a lot of worry, even panic. It's as if they've been holding their breath, and now they're trying to catch their breath, getting lost in the hard truth they've been trying to get away from. So while it seems strange, forgetting is a desperate try by the narcissist to deal with their problems. It shows how far they'll go to avoid facing the truth about themselves. But remember, this isn't a good solution. It's just a short break, a quick pause from reality. And when reality comes back, it hits hard. It's a scary reality for them. Let's move on to the final odd thing. Number 5, narcissists start blaming everyone. When things go wrong, narcissists start thinking that everyone is against them. They start paying too much attention to everything, like being on high alert. If you've ever seen a meerkat keeping watch, that's what it's like. They're always looking out for danger, whether it's real or just in their head. This is because they feel like they're in a dangerous situation. They're like a soldier in enemy land, always looking around, unsure of who they can trust. This is a hard and tiring way to live. But for the narcissist, it's a way to protect themselves. They think everyone is attacking them. They don't just start getting suspicious, they start blaming people, often for things they haven't done. It's like they're trying to hit first before they can get hurt. They blame people for lying, for planning against them, for being disloyal. These blames often have no truth in them, but the narcissist doesn't care. They're not interested in what's true. They're interested in staying safe. And here's one thing. These blames are not only towards strangers or people they don't know well. They're often towards the people they're close to, their friends, family, partners. The very people who would normally help them during a hard time become the targets of the narcissist's fears. What happens then? They become very lonely. The narcissist makes everyone leave with their blames and fears. They end up alone, surrounded by the walls they've built with their own worries. It's like they make their own fears come true. They think they're being attacked, so they attack first. And in doing so, they make the people who could have helped them leave. So there you go. 5 odd things a narcissist does when things fall apart. Until next time, that's all for today. If you enjoyed the video, give thumbs up. For more videos like this, hit subscribe button.